So hello there guys, how you all are doing? I hope you all will be doing fine. Welcome back to Rejoin Tech. We are again back with a new video, this time in Rust Nuggets playlist. In this video, we will be learning how we can write loops in Rust.
Loop? What loop?
We will be exploring loops, while loops, for loops and use cases of them with live coding. But wait, if you haven't subscribed to Rejoin Tech, kindly do it fast. Hit that subscribe button so that you get updates for all our videos. Moreover, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications first. So let's start this video. So first of all guys, what is loops? So as the name suggests, simple word that is loop means something that is on repetition. In any of the programming language, if we want to repeat say certain actions, for example, we want to print something 10 times. We need to either write print statement 10 times or write print statement one time inside a loop that runs say 10 times. So this is what loop does. So there are a lot of use cases of loops in our programming world. So some of the basic example of loops can be manipulation for array elements, inserting inside array elements, and a lot of them are there. Now in Rust, we have three kinds of loop. First of all is the same keyword, that is loop. Next comes while loop as we have in all other languages. And lastly, we have for loop, just like again in all other languages. So first of all, let's see how are the syntax of these loops, and then we will code it live. So first comes loops. So the syntax is simply the loop keyword and inside it something whatever you want to do it. But always remember, there is no precondition check in this kind of loop. So you need to at certain point break this loop to come out of this. So say for example in our next loop, that is while loop, we have this condition wala part here. So what happens once this condition becomes false, the loop will automatically break. But that is not something that happens in this loop because there is no conditions associated. So you need to practically go there and break it out. Else, if it is an infinite loop, at certain point of time, your stack will be overflowing and it will automatically break. So let's quickly code it out. So this is how we can code a loop. Let's see what it outputs. So this will output us an infinite loop that is keep on going until unless we press Ctrl C on our keyboard. It printed a lot of times this particular println string that is hello there. This is an infinite loop. So this is how we write loops. So say if you want to break out of this loop automatically. So let's initialize a variable that is let mute I equals to 0 and then say something like if I equals to 10 break. Now you need to have an increment in I. So how we can do it? We'll make it like this. So what it will do, it will just add 1 to I. This is kind of a counter. So let's see how many times it gets printed. Let's first of all clear it, then do a cargo R. So it printed the loop 10 times. Why? Because we started from 0. So this is how we write our loops. Now let's come back on our next kind of loop, that is while loop. So how we write a while loop? So this is a simple syntax, while with some certain condition, and until this condition is true, our loop will keep on executing. So this is the condition here is same like my previous video in which we had if else. So there was if condition do something. So until unless that condition is true, if block will be executed, else the else block will be executed. If you haven't seen that video, kindly check out the link in I button. It will be more helpful to you. So how we can code it? Let's write something like while, and in place of condition, we will write I less than 10. What we will do is we will print ln. This same thing we will print. So let's copy it. And now what we will do, we will increment I again. And let's comment it out because first of all, this loop will be executed. We don't want to do that. So this is it. Let's see how many times it will print it. So let's clear our terminal and then do cargo. So this is it. Again, it printed 10 times. So this is how while loops work. While something that is condition is true, it will do whatever is written inside this block. Now let's take one another example of arrays. So let us initialize an array. Let a equals to 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is how we initialize an array in Rust. Now let's print all the elements of array using while loop. So how we can do that? First of all, we need to initialize a variable that is a equals to 0 so that we can traverse it through all the elements. So now let's write a condition while a is less than 4. Why we have taken 4? Because 4 is length of our array. It will increment like, first of all, it will take 0, then it will go on 1, then 2, and then 3. At 4, this condition will be false. So we will come out of the loop. So now let's print all the elements of this array. How we can do that is the element at the index is, so this is it. Let's write a and then ARR of a. And moreover, we'll have to increment our a by 1 every time. And moreover, for incrementing our a, we need to make this variable as mutable. So if you haven't seen the video in which I have taught how to mutate a variable, kindly check out the link in I button. So now let's print all the elements in our array. Let's do a cargo R and let's see. It prints 10, 20, 30 and 40 with 0th, 1st, 2nd and 3rd index. So this is how we can use a while loop to print our array. So there are some certain complexities involved with using while loop for arrays or any collection. What are those? So for example, we have hard coded this 4, right? We could have used array.length or something like that, but no matter. Even if we want to hard code it, now the complexity arises when I just remove one digit from here. Now what will happen? Surely our code will panic. Why? Because it will try to access the 3rd element which is not at all present. So this is how. There is only 3 index, but we are trying to find more than that. So this is one of the complexities that might occur. Again, you are having one mutable variable, then you are counter incrementing it all the time whenever you are printing. So these kinds of scenario is solved while using our for loop. So that is why for loop is one of the most famous loops used in Rust. So let us now see how for loop works. So this is syntax for our for loop. So I have taken a simple example for element in array, something till the last element. So how this works? In our previous example, we had 4 elements. So we will write for a in ARR. So unless there is no more element in ARR, it will perform. So there were 4 elements. So this loop will automatically decide. So okay, there are 4 elements in array. So I need to run 4 times. So this is how for loop works. This is very specific example. For loop can be applied for any use case, any collection, anything you want. But you need to remember one thing, you don't need to have some certain counters and something like that if you are using a collection. It automatically Rust infers that this particular array has these many number of elements. So that is kind of a use case that for loops handle. So now let's test it out. We have our array. Now let's do a for loop for I, or let's make it as for a in ARR. Now let's simply do println the element is a. And this is it, guys. I mean, clearly it is simplest thing ever you would have done. Let's do a cargo R and we have all our elements, that is 10, 20, 30. Now, even if you decrease one element, say you decreased 30 from here. Now let's do a cargo R. So it will print 10 and 20. So this is where while loop panicked, but for loop is fine. So these are all the loops in Rust. I hope you liked this video, and this was quite simple, but one of the most useful tools you might be using in future. So this is it, guys, for this video. Hope you liked the video. If that is the case, please hit that like button. That will mean a lot.
Please.
and subscribe to Rejoin Tech. Thank you for watching the video. See you soon. Take care.